and we're going to get into those little things you can do to improve everyone's day. Most importantly, your own. I'm going to start this off right when you get up in the morning. Make sure your first thoughts of your day are positive. You decide whether you're going to have a good day or a bad day. You decide what kind of thoughts you're going to have starting the day, what kind of a day you're going to have. I mean, it's all up to you. Nobody makes you miserable and pissed off and hate the world unless you let them do it. If you start the day knowing it's going to be a good day, it's gonna be contagious. If you walk in smiling, hey everybody, how you doing? It's gonna help. It's gonna set the tone for everybody else too. Maybe you can see it as a challenge to get the guy that you see moping around spiked up a little bit and smiling and walking around.
You've one of those too.
We got a few. Think about all the people you're going to help throughout the day. Don't get into that rut of thinking, okay, this is just my job again. I'm here today. I'm going to go tow some trucks. I'm going to go tow some cars. Man, be aware that the people you're helping that day are probably having a shittier day than you are. Their car broke down. Their truck broke down. They ran off the road. They're in a ditch. I mean, it doesn't get worse than that, much worse than that. But if you go out there and you turn that around, if you see it as a personal challenge to greet these people, they're having a bad day. If you get out of your truck with a smile and you greet them properly and you're friendly, I guarantee you can turn things around for them. And by the end of that tow, they're going to be happier. They're going to feel like they got a value for their dollar. Nobody wants to call a tow truck. And then, oh my God, what's this going to cost me? What's this going to cost me? Well, if they end up with a favorable opinion of you and the company and the service you provided, they're going to be happier. They're going to appreciate you better. You're going to see that they appreciate you, hopefully. And that's more positivity you can feed off of.
I mean, put yourself in the customer's shoes. You have that accident, that dead battery, whatever. What do you want to see hop out of the truck coming up to greet you? Do you want somebody who's grumpy and just as bad mood as you are? No, you want a good interaction. And if you can't get yourself in that mind frame when you wake up every morning, then you're in the wrong business. It's not for you. This is service. This is customer service. Yeah, it's a manual trade. It's a lot of technique and skill involved, but at the end of the day, we're customer service reps. Every one of us, everybody that answers the phone, everybody that drives the truck. That's at the end of the day, that's all that matters, is delivering a high level of service. You can't do that with a bad attitude.
No, a while back we decided that we weren't going to be a wrecker service anymore. We were going to be a customer service company. And we provided that service with a tow truck. Once you start thinking along those lines, things change. And I'm sure I got that from somebody. That's not my brilliant thought, but somebody, I believe, mentioned that to me at one point. And it made total sense. I mean, we should all be focused on some sort of customer service training. We go to the Rec Master schools. We go to, wherever. Association training, that's provided by them. We do all that. But how many of us actually take, or as owners, who provides customer service training? All right. It's very important. We mentioned it last year, Mike Porter and his dispatch training. It's dispatch training, but above that, it's customer service training for your dispatchers. And, that can definitely roll across to the drivers, everybody else in the office. Once you hear them presenting themselves to the customers, or Mike would say clients, to our clients in that positive manner and helpful, it just changes everything. And if the dispatchers are doing that good of a job, then your job's probably going to be easier. When you get there, they're already going to have a more favorable opinion of you, the company. It's going to make things easier. When Mike came here to Atlanta to provide this on-site training It's 2 days of training towards it. It was priceless to us. It was fantastic. If you haven't checked into it, please do so. I know others that have gone through it, and this isn't a commercial for Mike, but Mike showed me some very important things. And one thing that stuck out was he pressed us all never to start our day by watching the news. Don't ever turn on that news channel first thing in the morning, because I'm sure it's different other places, but here in Atlanta, the first 10, 15 is going to be insanity. It's, deaths, murders, carjacking, stuff like that. There's no way to let that stuff into the beginning of your day and it not affect you. I still find myself I have not watched the morning news before going to work since Mike came here for that training. I've caught myself jumping over real quick to check weather. If it looks like a shitty day or something, I'll check the weather. I'll jump right back off, or I'll just check my phone or go to the Weather Channel direct. But I do not watch the morning news, and I can assure you it has made a difference in how I start every day. So there's little things. Not only worry about being positive, make sure the things you're letting into your day are also positive. There's some things you can't control, but you damn sure can control not watching 10 to 15 minutes about murder every morning.
It's depression followed by an incorrect weather forecast and followed by more depression. That's all it is. But if you're a driver and the underlying goal you have is not to help that customer, then something's wrong. If the first thought you have is how fast you can get this call over with, or how much money you're going to make on this call, or anything other than how well you can help them, it's not going to go as well as it should. Your commitment to service isn't going to be as good. The customer's not going to have, as good of an experience, which leads to reviews, which leads to word of mouth, which leads to all kinds of things, which probably leads to you getting a raise, by the way. That's the only thing that matters is to help that customer. And you have to be able, all that really matters is that initial interaction. The customer forms their opinion in that first 5 seconds. When you get out of the truck, when you approach them, introduce yourself, what you look like, what you're wearing, how professional you take the whole situation. That obviously safety and tie downs and your technique, all that matters, obviously. But to the customer, they don't know any better. They don't know if you should use a snatch block, if you're winching correctly, whatever. All they care about is that feeling they get when you get out of the truck. Do they feel relieved, or do they feel scared, or do they feel intimidated? Do they feel like they're inconveniencing you? Those are the big things you got to think about.
Yeah, it's kind of like what do they say? Build it and they will come. If you build, a positive attitude, that positivity will come to you, and it may come in the shape of a raise or tips or anything like that. So you start out by giving, and the stuff will come back to you. I guarantee it. The next thing, I always did this. I encourage drivers today to do it. I don't know why more don't do it. We spend some long hours in these trucks, and I always kept, if you've ever seen those black police bags that you can get at the tactical stores, nice big bag. It's got a slot in it for your logbook, your invoice book, all this stuff. And it's big enough inside. I would keep I would call it a jump bag. It's because I would jump from truck to truck and I just grab my bag and I know everything I needed was in this bag, other than my impact or something like that. But I'd keep this jump bag with me. Everything I needed in there, spare pens, pad to write on. Everything I might need that I might forget jumping out of one truck into another one, even though I was primarily in one truck all the time. But I'd keep dry clothes in there. I kept toothpaste, a toothbrush, 1 or 2 bottles of water, some snacks in there. It's real hard not to get grumpy if you're hungry in the middle of the day, because my God, 3 police calls just came in. I was supposed to eat lunch 2 hours ago. I'm hungry. you got a little snack on you, man, that alone. I don't know about you. I like to eat. I get real grumpy when I don't eat. So, I mean, just a snack and a bottle of water, knowing it's there and you kind of forget it's there. I'm not talking about that's what you eat off of every day. I'm not talking about putting your lunch in this bag every day. I'm saying in a bind, some sort of snack and a drink in there in case you get stuck. You might break down yourself on the side of the road and you ain't got shit. And it may be an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours before someone can get to you. It's nice to have a snack and a drink with you. So, try to be prepared. And we've all gotten caught out first thing in the morning in a rainstorm. It's kind of chilly out. Man, it is hard to shake that chill. Keep some dry clothes in there. Me, I did a lot of long distance stuff in a heavy. So I'd normally keep about 3 days worth of clothes in there. But man, sometimes just a dry pair of underwear and a dry pair of socks can mean everything and make you, just more comfortable throughout the day. So, I mean, be prepared. Don't be that guy that says, man, I had to change trucks today and I ain't got none of my shit with me. Make sure it's with you, man. Grab one bag. Everything comes with you. We don't do paper invoices anymore, but I used to keep spare invoices in there just in case. I used to keep, my logbook would stay in it. I mean, there's a lot of things to do. My grease pencil to write on windshields and stuff. Everything was in that bag. If I jumped into a truck, I did not have to worry about saying, so-and-so didn't have this in his truck. I brought it with me. I was responsible. I brought the stuff with me. And it just eliminated all those little hassles throughout the day that can happen throughout the day or when you do have to change a truck for whatever reason.
Yeah, being prepared. Newsflash, your day's not going to go how you think it is. This is the towing business. Nothing goes the way it should. Every day's a new shit storm that you got to put out and you got to figure out. Unless you plan on being dead and not having any calls to run, you have to think ahead. And you know what? If you roll out of bed 1 minute before you have to leave your house to clock in 1 minute before your shift, you're probably not going to be prepared. You don't have time to think. You don't have time to plan out what you need, what you used yesterday that you need to replace. Having that bag is huge. It sounds silly, but there's nothing worse than wet feet, man. I don't care what you're doing, where you live. There's nothing worse than that. It's just little things like that. If you're pissed off because you're hungry and you have wet feet, I mean, that's not the customer's fault. That's no one's fault. That's, it rains, it happens, it snows. That's when you get busiest, by the way. So you should be happy about that, especially if you're commissioned. So be prepared to, I don't want to say live in that truck, but to be able to depend on yourself and take care of yourself and to fulfill your needs, your warmth and your food. That's about it. Other than that, you should have a good day.
And on top of that, if your coworkers also use that same system, there's a lot less chance that you're going to jump into their truck and say, oh my God, man, all their shit's laying all over the seat. I got to clean this up. If everything's in your bag and it's not spread across your seat, you don't have to move the stuff when a customer gets in, and you don't have a customer standing on the side of the road waiting for you to do that. I mean, it's
so embarrassing.
It is. And with that said, don't put dirty stuff on the customer's seat. I mean, sometimes you can't help but get dirty and you're getting in and out of your driver's seat. Don't throw your dirty gloves on the passenger seat. I mean, to me, gloves should never, at the worst, they should be like just inside the door on your floor. Never on a seat, not laying in the middle of the floor, not up on the dashboard. Please don't put stuff all over your dashboard. One of my peeves I should have used on the last show, but man, I can't deal with stuff on the dashboard. It looks terrible. And it was funny. I was mentioning that once, and they said, you know what? The guy that started this company 30 years ago, he would freak out if people had dirty windshields and anything on the dashboard. And you sound just like the guy that started this company way back then. I thought that was pretty funny. Keep your truck orderly. Have some business cards for people. Man, please keep business cards in your truck. You should not end a call without handing somebody a business card. I know everything's digital, online. They may or may not keep that business card, but you're making the gesture. You're saying, here, I'd like to be your guy next time. You're showing them that you care and you want that call. And if you just did that call the way you're supposed to and made it a positive experience, I guarantee they're going to call you back. Nobody wants to just call someone out of the blue. If they've had a good experience with a tow company, especially with that, the image that so many towers have, our industry has, if somebody finds a gem of a driver, they're probably going to call you up or call up and request you. So you maybe just drove a little more commission into your own pocket. And it may not be for 3-4 months. It may not be for 2 years. But with any luck, they're going to think of you and they're going to have something with your name on it, whatever. And it could drive money in your direction. Cut your hair, shave or trim that beard, wear some deodorant. All right. It gets hot out here. We all know drivers sweat. We get dirty. We get grimy. Man, I don't know. I'm a firm believer in if you look good, you feel good. Grab a clean vest. Don't be the guy walking around in the oil-soaked vest. All right. With any luck, your company keeps a stock of clean vests because you should be in a clean vest. And I believe, we know there's one program we're on, the TRIP program. It is in the program. You have to have a clean vest. Okay. These 3M strips, the reflective strips, they look like shit after a few washes. All right. These things aren't expensive. Stay in a new, clean vest.
And newsflash, they work a lot better when they're clean. That's the whole point. They're not as reflective when they're covered in oil and mud and grease. So
no, they look terrible. And again, it goes back to that first impression.
Well, I want to go back real quick. Talking about the bag of all your stuff. Think about it on the other foot here, or the other hand. If somebody has to get in your truck, wouldn't it be nice if all that person's stuff was out and wasn't laying everywhere? So the next guy that climbs in it has to move your cigarettes and all your Pepsi bottles and your dirty socks and your bologna sandwich and your clipboard and your whatever. Wouldn't it be nice just to, when you're done for the day, you take your bag, your truck's clean, ready to go, and maybe it's Saturday and somebody has to hop in your truck because theirs, is in the shop, and they can put their bag in there and it just goes right in and everything's nice and orderly. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be? Isn't it crazy to think about other people?
So here's an idea. When you go buy that bag, whether it's on Amazon, whatever, if you have a coworker who's kind of like the pig pen of the bunch and they're known for their stuff laying around and they're disorganized and all that stuff, how about this? Ring, ring, ring. Hey, buddy, I'm online. I was thinking I want to get myself one of these bags, man. I'm going to keep all my stuff in it. And man, they're pretty cheap. You want me to get one for you too? They're like $50. You want me to grab one for you too? Just kind of lightheartedly suggest it to the guy, help him out. The guys that just tend to be a little messier, this stuff never occurs to them. They're just messier guys. So if you can kind of coach them, it may end up having a positive benefit for yourself too. Because now maybe when they get out at the end of their shift, they're going to take all their shit with them. And you can now move into a neat, orderly truck with your neat, orderly things.
And continuing the trend here of thinking about other people, wear deodorant, be clean. You're going to get dirty, I get it. Yeah. But there's a difference between getting dirty and having that funk. And we all know the funk. If you've hopped in a truck after the guy with the funk, you can't shake it. No. In Ohio, it's the equivalent of walking into a Speedway gas station. Everybody knows the smell of a Speedway gas station. They all smell the same, and it's some ungodly mixture of ingredients that nobody knows what it is, but it stays on you. If you can run in the door and run out, and you stink, you smell like Speedway. It's the same way. Hopping in a dirty truck is the same way. You're dirty for the rest of the day, all because of that guy didn't take a shower yesterday. So and if you don't think the customers notice that, you're wrong, because they do. We
Keep
always
in mind,
say,
they're probably on their way to or on their way home from a desk job. They ain't stinking, and they're gonna notice it.
yeah, we always say your truck should be clean enough that you should be able to pick up your mom wearing white pants and feel comfortable with her getting in that truck that she's going to get out clean.
We use that same line. Yeah.
So-
Think about it this way. You're having a problem at your house with anything, plumbing, electricity, whatever. You call one of those guys out. Okay. It's just like calling for a tow. You're like, oh my God, what's this going to cost me? If that guy coming to the door is all overgrown and wearing shitty clothes, how much faith are you going to have in him doing a great job? Very little. So it's the same thing. You jump out of the truck, you got some nice clean black pants on, you got your uniform shirt on, you got a nice new vest on. I mean, bam, you already instantly just climbing out of your truck and walking towards that customer. You have already blown away what they expected to get out of your truck. All right. I guarantee what they expect to get out of that truck. I don't care how good the truck looks. They're expecting Bubba the junkyard guy to get out of that truck. Don't be Bubba the junkyard guy.
Not everybody's, not everybody's handsome. Not everybody's Brad Pitt. You're not gonna. We're not saying that. Some of us are ugly. I'm in that club. It's, got a big old nose, big ears, big chin. I get it, but just having your shirt tucked in, having a clean uniform, having, you don't have a scraggly beard with French fries in it, and your hair's sticking up, look like you combed it with a pork chop. You gotta, if you just look the part, instant credibility. It might be your first day on the job, but if you show up and you look the part, that customer's gonna think, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. I'm in good hands. This is gonna be fine.
Yeah. So, we talk all the time about breaking the stereotypes, and that's one real easy way to do it is don't jump out of the truck looking like what they expect to jump out of the truck. So yeah, come on, throw in a couple extra haircuts per year, keep that beard trimmed if you got one. Don't get all scraggly like you just climbed out from under a bridge, because that's what unfortunately a lot of customers are expecting to see climb out of that truck.
And as an owner, the single worst meeting or encounter that you can have with an employee is the hygiene conversation. There's no easy way to look a grown man or a woman in the eye and tell them that they stink. And we've done it. I've had to do it. It's unnecessary. Like I said, we're not expecting you to be Brad Pitt, but we shouldn't have to have that conversation.
It's been a long time, but there was a point during a very hot summer, we actually had to buy several sticks of Right Guard or whatever and leave them in the driver's office and just kind of lay out that big hint. Hey guys, remember, it's summertime. Everybody sweats. We know everybody's going to get funky, but hey, if you think about it, grab one of these and throughout the day, you might want to throw a little extra on, that is one of the most uncomfortable conversations you can have with an employee, but you have to have it. You can't have a truck of funk going out to get your customers. So just be mindful of it.
Yeah, and owners, you need to look the part too. I'm not saying you need to wear a shirt and tie and a tux every day, but you need to look clean. If you're going to set a level of expectation, you need to look the part too. If the police chief shows up and wants to have a meeting unannounced, you need to look like you're ready for that. It's not, like I said, it's not wearing a suit and tie, but have your shirt tucked in, look clean. Don't look like your plan is to hide in the office all day. We'll be right back.
All right, here's one. If your dispatcher gives you some solid info that helps you complete a call with little grief or no grief at all, let them know. They want to hear that they're doing a great job just as much as you do. Okay? Their job is hard. Drivers love to beat the shit out of dispatch. Okay? But, keep in mind, you're receiving a call, you're going to do that call. You're more or less, you're almost controlling the flow of things at that point. You get the information, you're going to do the call, you get out, you do the call. All right. Meanwhile, ring, 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 ring. We had a meeting with our marketing company the other day, and one of the things they do for us is track our calls and the amount of calls on each line for each Google ad we've got, our PD lines, whatever. We've got a separate line for everything. It's recorded. And these are some of the reports they provide to us. And it blows my mind when they come in and say, you guys answered 8,000 calls last month. 8,000? Now, unfortunately, those don't convert into 8,000 money-making calls. But these poor dispatchers are answering 8,000 calls in a month or whatever it is at your place. I mean, if you've got 8,000 calls, you probably have the dispatchers to handle that. If you're getting 1,000 calls, that's still going maybe to one dispatcher. So be mindful of that. We've all seen a dispatcher that clearly doesn't give a shit whether they give you the right information or not. Hopefully their time at your place is short-lived. But the ones that are obviously going out of their way, they're giving you the customer name, the customer number, accurate info. They're not just saying go to, around here, if you say go to 3400 Bullsboro Drive. Well, around 3400 Bullsboro Drive, there may be 10 different businesses. If you've got the dispatcher that goes out of their way to tell you this is the address, it's at Valvoline Oil Service, whatever. Man, that makes your life so much easier when you've got a dispatcher that's going the extra little bit and giving you that extra info. So let them know. Let them know they're doing a good job. Let them know how important it is to you, how much you appreciate that they put those extra little details into the call. Probably one of the first things I learned in this business when I was 18, a million years ago, was if you get along good with your dispatcher, your life's going to be pretty good every day. All right. If you're in constant conflict with your dispatcher, I'm not saying the dispatcher is going to purposely route good stuff away from you or route bad things towards you, but it a lot of times it comes down to that path of least resistance. If they have a call that's a little screwed up, it's a tricky one. And they know if they call one guy and he wants to cry about it, or they can call this other guy and he just says, thanks for the call, and goes and does it. Come on. It's human nature. They're going to go towards that path of least resistance. So, and if you're the guy that they end up calling, be happy about that. If you get some sort of bonus system, performance bonus, or you're on commission or whatever, man, that's helping you out. And it's going to translate into a little better pay. So, stay on their good side. Tensions run high in this business a lot. If you get frustrated, if you maybe give them some attitude, if they give you some attitude, man, next time you talk to them on the phone, be a good guy, good woman, whatever, and say, hey, man, I'm sorry. Hey, I got a little shitty with you earlier. I'm sorry. I know you're doing the best you can. You got a lot of phones ringing in your ears, stuff like that. Man, whether you think they're at fault or it was their fault or your fault, just take that high road. Apologize. Hey, let's get back on track today. We both got a job to do. That goes a long way, man.
Yeah, owners, your drivers should know what it's like to be on that other end of the phone line, to be the dispatcher, to be the call taker, however you're set up. They should know what it's like, and it's not easy. it's not easy to get all that information, especially today when you're dealing with digital dispatch services. Everything comes in electronically, and you got to call back if you're missing something. You've got these call centers that call on behalf of these fleet programs that you can barely understand. They don't know where they're at, let alone where that driver's at, to be able to relay that information to you. It's hard to get good information from. And also, you should be using a dispatch software. They all can be programmed on what information you have to get. That they can't proceed without getting the phone number, without getting whatever you think is important. So don't, take the risk of error out of it. Make it foolproof. They need that information. The drivers need that. Make sure they have to get it. And there shouldn't be those kinds of issues.
Yeah, remember, your dispatchers are relaying the information that was provided to them by a customer. Okay? Sometimes that information is going to be wrong. How many times has a guy said he's near exit 35 and he's near exit 41? They don't know. I see so many guys get pissed off at their dispatchers. They sent me to the wrong place. No, they sent you to where they were told you needed to go. There's no dispatcher out there purposely sending you to the wrong place. If they sent you to the wrong place, it was either an honest mistake or they were given incorrect info to start with. They can only work with what they've got. Like if they give you bad info, you can only work with what you've got. Stop acting like it's their fault. If you see a pattern of it and you get the feeling you've got one of those dispatchers that really doesn't give a shit, go to management. Let them know. Give them the feedback. Because a lot of times I'm amazed at how many times somebody comes to me and they act like this is like a major problem and it's been going on forever. And I'm clueless. I had no idea this was going on because nobody told me it was going on. I can't help you unless you come to me and tell me this stuff is going on. And if I see a pattern, sometimes you got a driver that had a bad day and he wants to bitch about everything. Well, you let him blow off his steam. You take it into account. But, it's when there's a pattern of things. You've got to communicate these patterns to management. It's the only way they can deal with it and address the problem. And maybe that person's just not right for the dispatching job. Maybe they lack a little bit of direction, a little bit of training. That can be fixed. All right. But you've got to let management know, and you've got to continue to let them know so they can see whether this was just a bad day or if this is a pattern and this person might not be right for the job anymore, or maybe they weren't ever and just nobody realized it.
Communication is huge throughout the whole scope of your job. It can make your job so much easier. It can make you more efficient. It can make you more money if that's how you're structured. You have to communicate, whether it's with your dispatcher, whether it's with your boss, whether it's with the customer, whoever. Calling ahead when you're on your way to the customer to make sure that they still need you first off, and that they're still in the same spot. They didn't, get the car started. They were able to drive a quarter mile the other direction. That saves everybody time, saves everybody money, fuel, everything. Communication with your dispatcher that if you're having a problem, that you're going to be an extra 10 minutes because you got to winch it out of a parking spot or whatever. So they're not expecting you to be free and clear when they think you should be, because they don't know what you're doing, what all you encounter when you get on scene. Now, I'm not saying you need a big old story to tell them, how, this car's got a scratch on it and they've got a bumper sticker that you think's funny and it's parked next to a Lamborghini and your grandpa had a Lamborghini and you go. I'm not saying you need to go waste a bunch of time, but they need to know what you're going through, what you see, what you encounter, when you're clear, when you're ready for the next call, where you're at, where you're going. If the destination of your call changes, if the customer wants to go somewhere else, dispatcher expects you to clear on the east side of town and all of a sudden he sees you driving west. You need all that stuff needs to be communicated real time, quickly. And you can do most of that through your apps and softwares nowadays.
Yeah. And here's one. Don't be full of shit. Don't be that guy telling all the damn stories. I mean, if you work with a guy long enough, you start hearing. Yeah, I hate to see, and over the years it's happened. I hate to see guys, they end up alienating themselves because they talk so much bullshit. And eventually coworkers don't want to be around them, don't want to interact with them. We know you. Like within years, I mean, if you work there for years, everybody knows. And if you start telling stories, there's no reason for it, man. Everybody likes you. If you just be a good guy, you don't be out to impress everybody. It's frustrating because I've seen guys alienate themselves, and there's no reason for it, man. Everybody likes you. You're a good guy. If you weren't a good guy, probably wouldn't be here anymore. We like you. Just stop.
Back to communication real quick. If you have something going on, tell your boss, tell your dispatcher, your supervisor, whoever, today's your anniversary and you would really love to go out to dinner with your wife you'd like to be out of here by 4:30. So you got time. Nobody else knows that.
Yeah.
Don't expect that at 4:15 you clear a call and we have nothing else to send you. We're going to tell you to go home, because we all know this is how this business works. If you need out at 4:30 and you don't tell anybody, you're just hoping and praying that's how how it unfolds. It's not going to unfold that way. You're going to get a car on its top in the ditch at 4:29, and everybody else is going to be tied up 20 miles the opposite direction, and you have to do it. Just little thing, doctor's appointments, whatever. I promise your boss doesn't care. You're human. You have stuff to do. We get it. Just tell us so we can plan around it. No big deal.
Yeah. And back to my point, don't tell stories about it. Don't try to make it bigger. Man, if you've got a good owner, just go tell them what's going on and you need some family time. Don't bullshit them about it. We had a guy years ago. It's just everything was a story, and he ended up alienating himself to the point where I think he just felt like he had to leave. He didn't feel comfortable anymore, and he left. And this was a good employee, man. This was a good guy. He was a really good guy, and he was good at what he did. But he just alienated himself. Just don't be that guy. It's the communication thing. We've also run into where I don't know if they think they asked for the time off and forgot they didn't ask for the time off, but in their head they've asked for it. It's been approved, and then that night they disappear, and we were counting on them to be on. So, man, cover your ass. If you ask for time off, document for yourself, for your own sanity, who approved it. Who'd you talk to about this? Who approved it? Because there's a good chance, man. Again, back to communication. There's a good chance whoever approved it, there's a good chance they got sidetracked onto something else and forgot to tell dispatch you're not on tonight. And then you blow up because dispatch is calling you and saying, you're on call tonight. Why aren't you answering your phone? Whatever. It's the communication. So even if you get time off approved or a night off approved to go to your kid's baseball game or something like that, it's probably a good idea that morning to let everybody know. Just remind them, hey, remember, I'm off tonight at 5. It might be a night that you normally stay on call till 10. But if you had something approved, you've got something you want to do with the family, man, we accommodate everything we can in the family arena. All right. My being a part of my son's life growing up, raising him was just crazy important to me. That's what my focus was, the past 25 years. So yeah, I understand. My partner, we understand. He's the same way with his kids. Very involved in sports and school and all this stuff. we want you, we encourage you to do those little activities. But man, give us a heads up. You know before this morning that your kid had an important ball game tonight to go to. You knew a week ago, 2 weeks ago. That's when it's time to start talking about it. What you should be doing, everybody, the morning of that event is reminding them that you're not going to be here past 5. So don't get mad when nobody realizes it or nobody knows or somebody calls you after you're supposed to be gone. And and just, try to plan ahead and be part of that solution. You did what you were supposed to do. Even if you did 2 weeks earlier, you requested it, remind people, because that person has moved on to 1,000 different things in the meantime. And the chances of them forgetting are pretty good. So take that into account. Help us out, communicate. I mean, we can probably go on for another hour about communication.
It's everything. And if you do forget, you legit forget that, your son or daughter's got a dance recital at 6 o'clock. If you forget about it, don't lie. Just if it's important to go. So have that honest conversation. Say, hey, I messed up. I forgot. Is there any way I could get out? Don't just say that you're sick and you're throwing up and you need to go home. And then newsflash, my daughter's in that class too. I'm going to be at that dance recital. And I see you sitting there and you're laughing and got the video camera out. Just tell me the truth. Shit happens. Communicate whenever possible. But if you do forget or something slips your mind, be honest with us. No big deal.
Yeah, we all understand that. Things slip all of our minds. But yeah, a straightforward, honest approach is the best way to handle that. And think of the animosity that creates. Just the, not even that. I mean, once you get caught in something like that one time, it draws question into everything in the future. Okay, if you're flat out busted being full of shit on something, the next time you have a story, you have a situation, I'm sorry. Again, back to human nature. It's going to call into question the validity of that story or that excuse. So keep it honest, keep it straightforward, and just communicate. For the employees in the office, communicate. This isn't all just about drivers. This is, I've seen cases where 2 people sitting right next to each other have no idea. You call one of them, give them some information. I don't know. Stupid me. It's important information. I would think that person would turn to their coworkers sitting there in the same office and communicate that. I don't feel the need. I don't feel like I should have to call this person, call the person at the desk right next to them, give them the same information, call the person in the desk across the hall. I mean, you shouldn't have to do it. If you have important information, you should be able to call one person in that office and they communicate to the other people in the office. So this isn't specifically just to drivers. This entire episode could go for everybody in the company.
Yeah, communicate within your own company and also communicate to your customer. If you told them a 60-minute ETA and it's 49 minutes in and you understand that there's just no way you're going to hit it, give them a heads up. It's a lot of times it's not a huge deal. Now, if they're stranded on the interstate in the hammer lane and they can't move, yeah, that's going to be a big deal. But for the most part, it's okay. They just want to know what's going on. I would guarantee you that 7 or 8 out of 10 bad reviews we get are because we missed an ETA and nobody called the customer. It's not the fact that we were late. It's the fact that they didn't know we were going to be late. If we would have updated them, and a lot of them even write that. They say, it's not that you were late, it's that you didn't tell me. I didn't know what was going on, and I had to call. Yep. You can prevent a lot of that. Just communicate. It's no big deal. Don't try to hide from it. You're going to miss an ETA, and they're going to figure it out. Just give them a call.
You don't ever want the customer to inform the office that you're late, right? You should be informing the customer that you're going to be late Don't give them a big story. I'm sorry. Traffic's taking a little longer than I expected, but I'll be here. When? Give them a time. Just update your ETA. People understand because chances are they're on the side of the road and the cars passing them are doing 10 miles an hour. They get the traffic thing. They understand. Okay, I get it. I'm sitting here. I'm watching this.
And don't tell them you're late because they sent you on a different call instead. Don't tell the customer basically that, sorry, but they felt that this other call was more important than you, so they pulled me off and had me do this one first. Don't tell them that. Just tell them you're running late. You got backed up, traffic, whatever. They get it. You don't have to. They don't need to know everything and say, well, sorry, we got a police tow, and those are way more important than you. They don't need to know that.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It happens. All right. Hey, sorry, police calls come first. The guy sitting on the side of side of the road with his kid in the back seat whining, he doesn't give a flying shit about your police tow.
Mm-mm.
He cares that he called you, he approved a rate, he approved of an ETA, and he expects you to be there at that ETA. If you can't be there, there's an apology. Hey, I'm going to be late. Taking longer to get to you than I expected. I am sorry. Give me an extra 10 minutes. And nobody's going to have a problem with that. People understand traffic. People understand all that stuff. People understand, maybe he had to stop and use the restroom somewhere. People get that. But to tell it, I guarantee the customer you're going to cares nothing about any call except their call. Yeah, so just remember, man, make them feel it's not only that they, in their mind, they're the priority. Make sure they feel that you think they are the priority, not someone else, not another call. Don't go blaming your dispatcher. You're just late. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm going to be running a little bit late, but I'll be there in 10 minutes. That's all they need. They don't need all this extra info because the more you talk, the more they don't care.
Yeah, they're having a bad day. They're wondering how much their vehicle is going to cost to get fixed, how they're going to get to work tomorrow, how they're going to get home, whatever. And they're watching that clock. And the minute you're 1 minute later than you said they're going to be, they're going to get pissed off. But if you call them ahead and say, hey, it's going to be an extra 15 minutes, whatever, we got busy, I'm going the fast as I can, then they'll get it. They push their expectation off. They're not as mad. You diffuse the situation. And when you get on scene, communicate. Have a routine. Greet the customer. Get them in a safe spot. Get them up in your truck. Help them up. Tell them, hey, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to pull your truck up on the bed. I'm going to strap it down. We're going to go wherever. Have that routine that you approach every situation the same so it's streamlined. The customer knows. They just want to know what's going on. Most people have never been towed, ever. They have no idea what to expect, what's going to happen to their car. Do your best to diffuse that situation. So communication is key. And speaking of keys, I always wonder what to do with my key fobs after we get these vehicles.
I guess we're about to tell them. What can you do with your key fobs? We'll be right back. All right, we're back. To wrap up this show, just remember, if you're having a bad day, stop for just a second and think about who caused that bad day. You may have a bunch of shitty stuff. You may have had a bunch of shitty stuff happen, but how you deal with it is up to you. How you finish your day is up to you. How you interact with everybody is up to you. So remember those decisions throughout the day and just try to keep in a positive frame of mind. You can turn things around. Just like the guy that broke down on the side of the road that I challenge you to make them happier, smile, joke around, feel a little more lighthearted about the situation by the time you're done providing your service. Keep that in mind when you're having a bad day. Try to turn it around for yourself. And, just stay happy and try and make everybody else around you happy. And it'll lead to bigger paychecks and it'll lead to a happier life.
Yeah, just remember, everybody that you're going to encounter in your day is having a bad day. And there's nothing worse than two people that are pissed off and having bad attitudes, just going back and forth with how bad their day sucks. And nobody wants to hear it. So if you're more likely to diffuse that situation, to turn that customer around, turn up a negative into a positive. We get a lot of reviews come in that say, I was having a terrible day, and then this driver showed up and totally put me at ease, made the situation better, and turned it into an okay day. That's best case scenario. That's the best thing that can happen. They're never going to have a great day when their car breaks down, but at least you can salvage their day and put them back in good spirits, let them know that everything's going to be okay. Here's what's going to happen, and put them at ease a little bit. Hustle,
and
hustle. Hustle's key. If you're looking for ways to make more money, work harder. I know that's not rocket science, brain surgery. Speed up. Don't work dangerous or unsafe, but move a little bit. Don't take 45 minutes to refuel. Don't take 30 minutes to do your pre-trip. Don't take 25 minutes for your restroom break. That's that stuff adds up. That could be 3 more calls a week. That could be $300, whatever it is. It's just little things. Towing is all volume. The towing business is volume. That's all it is. So the more calls you can cram into a day, the better you're going to be.
Man, you sound a lot like a motor club rep right there. Volume.
No.
No, but seriously, think about it. If you get the first call of the day and you're just coming on duty and you jump in the truck and go, and you treat every call throughout the day, that I bet you get an extra couple of calls in that day. And if you're getting any kind of performance bonus or you're on commission, a mixed hourly plus commission, anything like that, and knocking out 2 more calls a day, 1 more call a day is going to make a significant change in your paycheck. And I guarantee if you're the guy constantly complaining that you don't think you're making what the others are making, you're probably that guy. You're probably that guy that's kind of sluggish getting out to that first call and getting on to the next call. There's a difference between being friendly and standing around bullshitting for an hour after you finish a call with, the customer. So just keep in mind, you're there to provide service to the next guy. You don't have to cut people off. You don't have to be rude, but you do. Remember, you got a job to do and there's other people waiting for you.
And just think, every now and then there are gravy jobs that we get that make very good money for not a lot of effort, not a lot of time. So just think that if you missed out on one of those, you missed out on towing that Jaguar 5 miles that would have paid you $50 more than every other job because you dicked around at McDonald's for 10 extra minutes and you weren't clear, you weren't ready to get that call. Take those factors out of play. Go as fast as you can with being safe. Don't waste a bunch of time. Do what you're supposed to do. Let everybody know when you're clear, what's going on, that you're available, where you're at, if they don't know. And I promise you, everybody, it's the law of, I don't know what the law is, but it's some science shit that I don't know about. But when things are going well, they continue to go well. And when things are going bad, they continue to go bad. So if you're moving slow and you're dicking around on this call, it takes forever. It leads into the next call. It's going to take you forever. But everybody's had those days where it's bam, 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 it's toe after toe after toe after toe, and you're just killing it, making good money. You kind of control that.
Yeah, I had a driver the other day. Comes down to the shop. He was in another truck. We were servicing his that morning. He comes down. I said, "How you doing, man?" He goes, "Oh man, gosh, man, they're killing us, man. These calls are one after the other." And I was so happy because he finished his statement, not crying. He finished the statement with, "Damn, I love it because, man, my check's going to be beautiful next week." That's the way to look at it. Don't sit there and say, "Man, they're killing me, man. They're running me into the ground." Man, look at that goal. Look at that end game and say, "Holy shit, man, I'm going to have a good week next weekend." It all adds up. It's pretty simple.
It goes for the office too. You have to, in this business, you have to be able to find, I don't know if pleasure is the right word, but you have to be able to be happy and function when things are really, really busy, because that's the goal. That's what, as an owner, that's what I want. I want to be busy. I want the phone ringing off the hook. I want the digital dispatcher dinging nonstop. I want the guys dropping and going, dropping and going, dropping and going. I want that. And the drivers should too. You make more money. That's why we're here. And if we weren't that busy, I wouldn't need you. I wouldn't need those people in the office. I wouldn't need all of the drivers. That's the goal. You have to be able to find that, or you're in the wrong business.
Yeah. Look at those busy days as a challenge, not as a burden. All right. Look at the possibilities. One more call, 2 more calls that day. Somebody's on vacation. Hey, I'll fill in a little bit. I'll run some extra hours if that guy's on vacation. I can pick up the slack. You end up with a great paycheck after that. So instead of saying, oh, I'm stuck doing all this shit because somebody's on vacation. No, hey, this is my time to shine. I'm going to get a nice fat paycheck next week. So it goes back to the very first thing I said. You control how good of a day you're having. You're going to control, how that day ends. Positive note, negative note. It's up to nobody but you.
I promise you it's not going to last. If you're slammed busy, it's not going to last forever. You might as well eat it up while it's there.
Yep.
Get all you can get while it's there, because it's not going to last.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Be safe.